Hi guys, and welcome in the next video. Today I wanted to talk with you about alarms, and that's going to be an introduction to the alarms. Ready? Let's get started.
5, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
Okay, so why I wanted to talk about alarms today? So there are two important things I wanted to mention. One is going to be what type of alarms do we have and what are they causing to the robot. And second part is just saying how can you trace back the alarms so you can actually see what happened, because it happens sometimes that, for example, a robot will crash and you never know why. And there is a way of backlogging, so you can see what happened prior to that action, so we will be able to find out who did it, why they did it, well, maybe not why, but who did it and how they did it. I hope you're interested, so let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to talk to you about the alarms. So the alarms are going to be always shown at the teach pendant at the very top, where there is the info box. And there are quite a few types of the alarms. Some of the alarms are going to stop the robot, others won't. And there is actually quite a few things that happening with the alarms. So the robot can be stopped, the robot can continue the motion and stop at the end of the motion. There can be only a warning or there can be an e-stop. So I wanted to let you know that stops affect three things. One is the program execution, second one is the motion execution, and the third one is the robot servo. So depending on the error severity, you're going to behave different on a different alarm. And we're going to get into that more deep during the exercises. For now, I'm just trying to tell you the basics. But first of all, how do we know what's going on with the error? So first, you're going to see a red fault icon on your teach pendant. Then you're going to see the indication of the fault and the fault itself. Well, you can see it like in a different order, but all of those three things are going to light up if the error is red. Red error means the program execution has stopped or was stopped and you got to do something in order to get it back up and running. Most of the errors you will know immediately what's going on because there is always a short description telling, hey, this and that is going on. So it's pretty easy to find out. But sometimes you'll get to an error that you've never seen before and you want to get some info. So how do you get an info? Simply, you're going to open the fault. If you have a touch screen, you can click it twice. If not, you can hit the shift and info button, and that's going to tell you a little bit about the error. You can also, as an alternative, visit the website called robotfaults.com, and over there you can find a description about the error. You can interact with the users and tell your experience about that error, and you can find much more than just on the robot teach pendant. So I highly recommend for you guys to visit the website, really cool. Now let's continue how to get to the error codes. So you're going to hit menu button, then you're going to go to alarm and alarm log, and you're going to see all of the errors over there. And from that you can read a little bit more as you change your screen to the widescreen. Like this, you can display a little bit more information than just at the top of the teach pendant. So that's very helpful. You can also hit the history and you can see 100 alarms back that are logged over there, so you can get even more information about what could have happened that this fault occurred. Sometimes that's not the case, and right now I want to get to the second part of the video. So I wanted to talk a little bit about a logbook. Logbook is a file that stores all of the latest, let's say, interactions with the robot. So whatever happened prior to saving a logbook file, it's going to be saved in there. So all of the errors, all of the buttons that were pressed, and so on, are going to be saved in the logbook. Logbook is a much bigger file than just an alarm. So you're going to have much more information over there, and I will show it to you during the exercises. What else about the alarms? Guys, you need to be very aware about what types of alarms there are, like I told you, because some of them are just informations or warnings, and you don't necessarily care about them. You can have an alarm, but the robot can be running just fine. So you don't need to worry about it. If you want to get rid of it, read what kind of error it is, check it either on the robot faults or on your robot, and you will know what's going on with the fault and how to get rid of it. So keep that in mind, because robot might run just fine with an error saying something that's actually not relevant. Probably most common that you can see is going to be timer has already started. That's something I see quite common. If the macros are programmed wrong and you start the timer 2 times, then you're going to see that information, not an error actually. So let's get to the exercises, guys. I'm going to talk a little bit more, and I'm going to show you what type of errors there are, how the robot is going to behave when that error occurs, very interesting, and I'm going to analyze a logbook a little bit, so you get really a lot of information. Okay, let's get to the exercises. Okay guys, welcome to the exercises. So first of all, let me show you where the errors are. So if there will be any error, it will be displayed in here, in that part of the teach pendant, and most likely the red fault LED will, the red indication on the fault will show on, as well as a red indication of the LED on the regular teach pendant, not on the RoboGuide. There is like a small LED somewhere around here, and that one will light up as well. So how do we go to the errors? We gotta hit menu. We're going to go to alarm, alarm log, hit enter, and we're going to be in our alarm log system. So as you can see, if there is any error, that alarm log is being updated. So it holds up to 100 messages, and then it goes back to number 1. So the last 100 messages can be found here. Now, how do you tell what's going on? So there are 2 ways. One of them is going to the error and double clicking on it if you have a touch screen, and that's going to show you the error with the remedy. The other part is going to the error, and you can hit shift and help, and it's going to pop up the fault if you do not have a touch screen. So there are 2 ways: click it or hold shift and hit the diagnose button. Okay, but now, like I told you, there are quite a few types of faults that we have. So let's try to see how they act. So I already made a program in here with a user alarm that we're going to talk about in the next video. And I'm going to show you what type of fault do we have. So first of all, there was something that I told you about during the video called severity. So this dictates like how important the fault is, let's call it like this. But in real, depending on the number set in there, we're going to have a different type of action happened. So in order to set those, we're going to go to variables. We're going to go to this variable, hit enter, and we're going to play in here. So because it's hard for me to recreate an error, guys, like the one that you've seen in the alarm log, let me show you once more. It's hard for me to recreate those errors during the program execution. I'm going to kind of trick it to show you what happens and when. So like for example, the red errors are going to behave different than the yellow errors and different than the ones that do not have a color at all. Okay, so we are in our program. So the severity is set to 0 right now for that alarm. And let's see what's going to happen. So if I'm going to run that program, as you can see, there is an error saying test alarm, and that's the alarm that I caused with the 0 value. That means that there will be no action taken. That means only a warning message is going to be displayed. Let me run it once more. So I'm going to reset it, run it. Nothing happens. The robot ran the whole program, and we have empty, not empty, but the error message or the warning that doesn't cause a fault. Okay. Now, the second type of default is going to be number 2, and that's going to pause the program, but it will not stop the motion. So let me show you what do I mean. Okay, and I'm going to run the program slowly so you can see what happens. Okay, and let's run it. So we have the error, but the robot continues to run until he doesn't reach the second point. That type of stop is it's a pause program without stopping the robot motion. That means the robot is going to display an error message, but he's going to continue to doing the motion that he started until he finishes the motion, and then it's going to stop with the fault being turned on. All right. What if you want to stop the program and stop the motion? Then you gotta use the severity of number 6. When we run it, let me just run it from the first point so you can see. Okay, put it on 5%, and let's run the whole program. So right now we're going to get the error, and the robot is going to stop immediately. Move a little bit faster so you can see. So as you can see, an error showed, and the robot stopped the motion in as quickly as the error shows. So the error shows and the motion is stopped. So that's the type of stop is like a pause program and a motion stop. What else can happen when you get a fault? We can, for example, abort a program with an error. In order to that's going to have the severity of number 3. Let's try to run it. Okay. Let me zoom out so you can see the robot motion. Okay, let's run it slow. So the same thing happened. The program got aborted, the motion didn't stop, but we got the error. So there was an error, robot continued to move, the program got aborted, and he was moving until the movement has finished. As soon as the movement finished, everything was great. Okay, so there are quite a few more options of stopping. So, for example, if you want to abort the program and cancel the motion, we would like to use number 11. So if we're going to use, number 11, and we want to cancel the motion as well, let's run it. As you see, we got aborted, the program finished execution, and the robot stopped. So why am I telling you this, guys? So all of those that I showed you was caused by a user error. But all of the errors that you have in the robot, the one that I had here before, deadman defeated, operation mode T2 selected, teach pendant enabled, and so on, those are the programs that are not caused by a user alarm, but by a kernel program that's predefined by Fanuc, and it's already loaded onto the robot. And I want you to understand the importance of the alarms, because sometimes what can happen, and I've seen that many times, is you're going to have the robot running with a warning, and it will be stopped for any other reason, like you will have a hold from PLC or something else, and they will call you because there is a alarm in here. That's not the case. The robot is running. That was just information, just a warning that something is not going okay, but the robot is running. As long as you don't have a red fault in here, then most likely what's happening is just an information for you that you might want to take a look at this or that. And then, depends on how important the fault is, the different action is going to be taken. So I want you to know that sometimes the robot is just going to pause, so you're going to hit reset and it will continue the motion if the error is not too important. This has a big difference because if there will be a collision and you hit the fault reset, actually before you hit the fault reset, the different actions happens because a collision attack will stop the robot movement. It won't cancel the program, but it will stop the motion. That's why I wanted to tell you about all of those different types of stops, and those are going to be very important on our next video where we're going to talk about the user alarms. So all of those colors that you have over there, they were representing kind of what's happening here. So let me show you, for example, once more error number 2. So you see, we got just an yellow color in here. That means that the program was paused, the motion execution did continue, and that wasn't too important. If we're going to change it to, let's say, for example, number 6, the same thing, yellow, because it only paused the program, and the importance is not too big. But for example, let's use number 11. See, that's a red error. The program got aborted. It has a higher priority. That's why the color changed and there was an error. The color changed and the program got aborted. So all of that is somehow connected. Read a little bit about it in the manual, play with it with your robot so you can understand what type of faults do you have and what action has to be taken. Maybe the robot just needs an error reset, or maybe there has been a different error and an action needs to be taken. A lot of important things, guys, with troubleshooting the robot, because sometimes when you have the error, you gotta track back what might cause that error. That's why you have the alarm log, and you can take a look at the history. Now, what if you want to know more than 100 actions? And like I told you, what you want to know if somebody did something to the robot, but you don't know what has happened. So let's delete that point. And let's talk about logbook. Okay, so we got that point deleted, and the robot crashed because of it. And you're being called to the site. Hey, we don't know what has happened. That always worked. Nobody changed anything. We don't know why the robot is stopped. So you're troubleshooting. First thing you're going to do, probably, you're going to do menu, alarm log, history. You're going to read what happened, and you won't find anything interesting here. That's fine. Your next step is going to be take a look at the logbook. How you can do it? You can either download it, you can make all of above backup, and the logbook is going to be there. Or you can take a quick look on the robot, and that's what we're going to do now, because you don't want to waste time, you don't want to wait for the backup. Just in case, guys, remember about my backup video. I'm also showing how to save a single file, so you can see how to save just a logbook file over there. Okay, so let's check our logbook. So we're going to go to menu. We're going to hit next. Sorry, we're going to hit file. And we want to go to the MD drive, memory device. And we want to look for the logbook. Logbook is saved as a LS file, so I'm going to look for the LS files. And let's scroll down until the L, and let's open our logbook. Our logbook is here. We want to hit next. We want to hit display. And what a magic do we have in here? So in here, the logbook is saving every single click of a button. So whatever happened on the pendant, Before opening the logbook or downloading the logbook, it's going to be displayed in here. So let's see if we can find that somebody deleted the point. So as you can see, everything is happening here, right? You can see that I've been to the alarm menu in here. I hit the enter. And in here, I think I cannot go back. Yep, there you go. Delete line, yes, no. And you can see that the program in here, that line was deleted by someone. Actually, because it's not so easy to see in here, let me show you how it will look like on the actual file. So in order to do that, let me save that file. Okay, and let me open it for you. Okay, so we have our logbook open, and let's look what has happened. So as you can see, all of the buttons that I pushed in here are saved. So you can see that I did copy the file, what file I copy, where did I copy it, to what did I save. Every single click of a button is saved here. We wanted to find our delete, which is going to take some time because I was previewing the logbook quite a few times, but no worries, we'll get there. By the way, if you were asking how big is the file, that's how big the file is. 10,000, almost 11,000 lines. So guys, pretty good knowledge over there, and a lot of things can be found. Okay, so we are already inside the Alt program because the edit button was pressed, and our screen changed to the program. As you can see, the program pointer was, or the cursor was set to this line. And next, what happened? I did press the edit command. That's the screen. Then delete is selected. Delete lines, yes or no. We don't know yet. We go up, and you can see that yes was pressed. Enter is pressed. That means that that line was deleted from the program. And you find this out of the logbook. And then you can see all of the next things that happened, that I went to the alarm screen. That's how the alarm screen looks like. And so on and so on. And then I wanted to show you the logbook file. So I hit the file menu. The menu was changed to the file. That's how it looked like. I did press the utility. Right after that, I selected the MD. As you can see, MD selected. I did hit the enter, and then I selected the logbook because, as you can see, that's the line that was selected by me. I hit the display, and I started displaying the logbook file. So, other thing important about the alarms and how to see what happened earlier. Logbook, guys. Logbook is going to show you what happened on the robot, who pressed what. Very important information over there. Okay, and that will be all. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed that video. Like always, leave your comments down below, give it a like, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye bye!